Good morning. Good morning. Two announcements before we start. If you are a member of Sam's Club, please see Dave Ruby after the meeting. Dave, wave your hand, Dave. There he is. The reason is Sam's Club has cornered the market on styrofoam coffee cups. They reportedly have the best price in town now on those devices. So if you are a Sam's Club member, see Dave. We need some assistance in making the purchase of a case. The second announcement is that the lab will be open after the meeting if you have things that you wish to accomplish back at the lab. So it'll be open, I don't know, 10:30, whenever we're done here. And if you want me to go real quick, I can do that. Please silence your phones. And keep your mask on except when you're trying to sip your coffee. We're doing a little remembering today. November 11th, 1918. It was the 11th month, the 11th day, at the 11th hour. And the armistice was signed, ending the big war. I'm going to ask my fellow veterans to please stand so you can be recognized for your service. Don't sit. Don't sit. Don't sit. I know, but ask all of you to stand, please, and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now, the reason we're meeting today is because on November 11th, a week from today, the veterans groups are having a luncheon here in the room, so we willingly traded dates with them. Thank you for joining in the pledge this morning. Now, our agenda is our normal agenda. A treasurer's report, and I should learn how to spell treasurer. Membership. You know, you think auto check would catch that. Membership, computer club matters, classes, community matters, a favorite application, and then our featured presentation. Treasurer's report doesn't change much. We've got $30,000 in cash at the bank. We've got $6,200 in deferred income. We've got 15 grand in the reserve fund, which means we have readily available over $9,000. Equipment inventory value is constant at the almost $73,000. And thanks to you, our contribution to the Grafton Food Pantry, which is your donation for the coffee and donuts, is through last month, $448. Membership as of the 25th was 1,421. Club Matters, our next meeting is the 9th of December, which will be obviously our last meeting for 2021. Our feature presentation is we have an engineer from Microsoft coming in to talk about Windows 11. The lab hours remain the same Monday and Thursday mornings. Remember your password if you're bringing a device with you that you want us to help you with. And of course, the masks. The photography group is on hiatus until spring. Apparently, many of their members head off as snowbirds, and we won't see them again until after the first thaw. The Apple group continues to meet on the first Tuesday of the month in the morning in the lab. Classes. Remember, all of our classes are free to members. No registration required, just show up and grab a seat. Bring your passwords in case you need them, and masks are still required. As far as upcoming classes, Ralph, you want to come up and give us your speech?
You will. Got to that so quick, I wasn't even ready, man.
Wake up, Ralph.
Oh, gee.
You gotta see him on the first tee. He can't open his eyes.
I can't hit the ball.
Well, you hit it better when your eyes are
Out my eyes,
closed.
I look up, yeah, I can see that. No,
Take off your mask.
yeah, my Halloween mask. Oh, yeah. All right, see you guys, I'm leaving. But anyway, we only got 3 more classes scheduled for the balance of the year. 2 in November and 1 in December, and that's gonna be it. Normally, we don't have a class in December, but Steve wanted to have an Android class, and said, why not? You know, we've been so light on classes, but I just got notice, George, we're gonna have a mail merge class. Now, that's gonna be really nice for people that wanna take and print their labels for Christmas cards, if you still wanna send it for 58 cents each plus the cost of the card. It's gonna be on Wednesday, the 17th, and at 10 o'clock in the lab. So that'll come out, David, I haven't sent that to you, I just, like I said, just found out a couple minutes ago that he would be willing to teach that class. Normally, we do it in October, but it's been a strange year with this mask and COVID. So that'll be coming out, and if you want to mark it on your phone right now as a class to attend. But it's really a good one. It saves you a lot of time if you can do a mail merge and just print out labels. If you're sending more than 15 or 20 cards, then just do it in the computer. We're still looking for instructors. As David mentioned, the lab's going to be open, and I'll be over there from the time we close here until noon. If you got any questions, or if you got maybe something you think you could teach, it really isn't hard. Believe it or not, I taught a couple classes, and I don't know hardly anything. There's probably, everyone out there has got a specialty, something that you do all the time with the computer, that probably 15 people around you have no idea how to do it. And it's real easy, we'll help you. We can do it by Zoom, or we can do it in person in the lab. So if you want to, look me up over in the lab today after the meeting. Otherwise, David, did you talk about you haven't talked about the survey, have you? Oh, I won't mention it then. But yeah, you'll be able to request certain classes, and it's really easy to request a class. Something you'd like to do, all I have to do is find somebody that can teach the class. So anyway, keep that in mind, and as we go forward, we look to have many more classes in 2022 than we did 2021, because many people just don't want to do much, in this environment. But it's getting better, and it's going to get better. So looking forward to seeing you in classes.
Thank you, Ralph. Community Matters. The next Sun City Board meeting is the 24th. It should be it should be streamed, and hopefully they will be alive to do it. We will be closed on Thanksgiving. Other community matters. Beauty and the Beast is coming up. Is Linda Davis here?
No, she's not.
Anyone from the theater club here? Are there tickets still available?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and they are selling tickets Monday in the Cedar Room at the other end of the building. Did you get the joke?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Favorite app. This will surprise you. Favorite app this month is YouTube. Now you think that's only for your grandchildren. Well, surprise. YouTube is more than just entertainment. It's also really a very good how-to-help resource. Here's an example. I had an email from a member asking, how do I move photos from my iPad to my Windows 10 computer? And I was going to sit down with Google and type up something in detail, and I thought, wait a minute. YouTube has all kinds of classes and all kinds of how-to stuff. So I went to YouTube, and in their search box, simply entered how to transfer photos from iPad to PC Windows 10. And this is just a sample. There had to have been 24 different videos on how to accomplish that. So if you've got something strange that you want to figure out, how do I do this? Try YouTube. Another good example, how to play bridge for beginners. Now there's also poker, blackjack, euchre, canasta. No, everybody knows canasta. But again, it's a wonderful how-to resource. This was in the Trib the other day. Try and keep the meetings light and, you know. Our feature presentation. Could a tablet be your next computer? Now, this is a two-part presentation. I'm the Apple guy, and I'll talk about iPads and MacBook. And Shelley is going to come up and talk about Windows, Android, and Chrome, and their tablets and their laptops. All right, beginning. And, you know, full disclosure, everything I do is on a Mac. I used to do Windows, but then I retired and I stopped doing Windows except at home and with Windex. The question is, why an iPad? Well, can I do everything on an iPad that I would normally do on a laptop? In this case, a MacBook. Or can I be as productive on an iPad as I am on a MacBook? Well, the simple answer is yes. I decided to do some research. You know, are there programs out there that I have used or do use on my iMac that I can also do on my iPad? So I came up with a short list here. Here's 8 little programs that I have on my Macintosh, and I wonder, can I do these on the iPad? QuickBooks, you know, of course, for Quicken and keeping track of your checkbook. TurboTax. Everybody has to do taxes. Microsoft Office, or Microsoft 365 as it's called. AutoCAD, for those that don't know, CAD stands for Computer Aided Design. Architects use it, building and construction companies use it. It's a very powerful tool. It's also relatively old for computer programs. It's been around for at least 40 years. And it really got started when the PC was invented. Music notation, that's kind of my hobby. I do music arrangements for concert bands, and I have a music arranging software on my computer. Golf handicap, a lot of golfers here, and I do handicaps for a league we play in when the weather is appropriate, like next week, Monday or Wednesday. Photo editing, that's a question we get a lot. How do I do this or that with all the photos I have on my computer or on my phone or on my laptop? So photo editing is something that people want to do. I like watching movies. Some people do. Can I watch movies on my iPad? So here we go. Quicken, QuickBooks, and TurboTax all are apps in the App Store on Apple, which surprised me because I figured they would be too complicated as far as a program to run on this 10-inch tablet, but they're there. Everything Microsoft, everything you want to spend money on from Bill Gates' folks, you can do on your tablet. Photoshop. Photoshop and other photo editing software packages are there to run on your iPad. Movies. What kind of movies do you want? You want the free ones, sort of semi-free, that you get with Prime Video? Or have you bought into the Disney Plus or Paramount Plus or Netflix? They're all available. You can watch on the small screen now. You like sports? All the sports networks are there. So you can watch a real football game or the Bears. Or as I try and do, and that's watch Illinois and I cry. It's all out there. Or if you're a golf nut, there's plenty of golf available that you can watch on the iPad and wonder, how do they do that? Music notation. This one really surprised me. I have a music notation program on my Mac, and I thought it's too complicated to put on a tablet. Well, this is called Sibelius. It's not the program I have, but it's the major competitor. And the fact that it's here makes me wonder, you know, is this something I want to further investigate? I'll get back to you on that. Golf handicap. There are a dozen applications for iPad on calculating golf handicap. So take your pick. AutoCAD. Again, this is built architecture and building design. I really didn't think this would be working on an iPad because of the complexity of it, but yet there it is. Yes, sir.
I have CAD, AutoCAD, and Windows, and I want a license.
Repeat it.
The questions on moving your license from your Windows PC? No?
You have to buy it.
He lost it.
$800 a year for AutoCAD and Windows.
Yes, it is not. It's not free, and as you'll see up under the word "get" in the upper right-hand corner in the very, very fine print, it says in-app purchases. So at least they're kind of upfront. It's not. I'm not suggesting that all of these are free by any stretch. All things Adobe you can do on your tablet, on your iPad, which is all kinds of creative programming. Again, none of this is free. Adobe, you know, it just doesn't do things for free, except Adobe Reader. There are more than 2.2 million apps in the Apple App Store. I believe it's very unlikely that you can't find an app to do what you want to do. What you see on the screen, all those little icons, they all come, the top half are all built into your tablet when you get it. The dozen or so at the bottom of the screen are free and available to download onto your iPad. Now, what's really interesting now, if you have an iPhone, you get the same tab, the same apps, and you can run them either on your phone or your tablet. And if you purchased it for your phone, you can have it on your tablet at no extra cost. And you make it even more interesting, Apple, you know, it's very vertical in their marketing and their product ideas. If you happen to have purchased a MacBook with the new Apple M1 CPU chip, all these come preloaded. So now you can have everything on your iPhone, your iPad, and your MacBook. Everything is identical. Plus, of course, with the MacBook, you can bring in all of your other, the real life, if you will, AutoCAD if you want to do that. But it's all there and it's all vertically integrated. So why an iPad? Can I do everything on the iPad I can do on the MacBook? Simple answer, yes. Now, the next question is, well, how much is it going to cost me? Lots. Shelley is going to talk about discounts that are available for the various Windows and Android and other products out there in the marketplace. Well, if anyone's ever looked at Apple pricing, no discount. However, on occasion, you'll see, if you're a Costco member, you'll see where they have some savings on some Apple products. I believe there will be savings on Apple product at Best Buy over the holidays. Online, I haven't looked lately if Amazon is doing any special pricing. But here's the news. What does an iPad cost? There are 5 models, and the base price ranges from $329 up to $1,099. The iPad Mini, as you see, is $500, and they run, depending on the size, they get prices change. The iPad Pro, the latest, 12.9 inch at $1,099. Now, of course, these are the stripped down models. Pricing variables on the 12-inch Pro, and it's the most expensive one. The memory options comes as standard to 64 gig, but you can have up to 2 terabyte of storage on that unit for an additional $1,100. And there are steps between 64 gigabyte and 2 terabyte. You can have a cellular interface on tablets now, and that would add about $200. So a fully loaded 12.9 inch iPad Pro is going to run about $2,400. Yeah. Moving on. Laptops, MacBook. There are 4 sizes. The entry level, if you will, MacBook Air, 13-inch, 8 gigabyte of RAM, 256 of SSD, which is solid state storage, comes in at $999. Base price was, forgot, $499. So we added some things to I'm comparing apples and oranges, all right. The same MacBook Air with 512 of memory, 512 of storage, goes up $300 or $250. The 13-inch MacBook Pro, which is a different model than MacBook Air, starts at $1,300. If you go with more storage, you add more money. You go to the 14-inch screen, you're at $2,000 with 512 gigabyte storage, which is the base storage amount. Go to a terabyte of storage, you're at $2,500. The 16-inch screen, which is the largest MacBook that they manufacture today, entry at $2,499, 16 gig of RAM, 512 gig of solid state storage, and it goes up to $3,500 with more memory and a terabyte of storage. So doing a comparison, 8 gig of RAM, 256 gig of storage, the MacBook Air 13.3-inch screen comes in at $999. It obviously has a built-in keyboard, and it does have 6 different ports for external devices. The iPad Air, the 10.9-inch unit, comes in at $749. It has a touchscreen and 1 port. So those are your trade-offs for $250 differential. My iPad is that 10.9-inch size. It's several years old, but works just fine. Again, why iPad and not a MacBook? Is I think I've tried to show everything that you want to do on a computer, you can do on an iPad. There's no real reason except personal preference here to go with a MacBook. Will your next computer be a tablet? That's your personal preference. I have both.
And the size of your wallet.
Yes, depending on the investment you wish to make in your toys. Part 2 of our presentation, I'm going to turn it over now to Shelley to talk about Windows, the Android, and Chrome options for tablet and laptops. Shelley? Give this back to Frank. And this, and it's yours.
Good morning, how you all doing? So everything that David just talked about regarding iPads and MacBooks are also applicable to other types of tablets. And so I'm going to talk about some of these other options because the Apple world is not the only world out there. We also have the Google world with Android, and we have the Microsoft world, and a lot of other companies make tablets that are available. So we'll look at some of these. So okay, what are the different types of tablets that are available to you? Well, we've got Android tablets from Google. We also have Chromebooks from Google, which is kind of sort of like a Android or Google's version of a laptop. We have the Microsoft Surface tablets, which are kind of more full-fledged computer type tablets. We have laptops, which are actually hybrids that are called 2-in-1s. They're convertible, so they're a laptop that you can kind of fold them back and they become a tablet. So you can use it as a tablet, or you can use it as a laptop computer. And of course, we have the iPads and the MacBooks that David talked about. How many of you have smartphones? Well, then you already have a tablet, because smartphones really are tablets. They're just smaller. And these days, they're getting bigger and bigger. So if you look at some of the newer smartphones today, they come in 6 or 7 inches. So that's really just a smaller tablet. Okay, so why would we want to get a tablet in addition to having a computer or instead of having a computer? Well, the first thing is they're smaller. A tablet's it's quite portable. It doesn't weigh as much, so you can carry it around with you. So it's a lot handier to have than to have either a large laptop or certainly a desktop computer. And as David pointed out, most of the things that you can do on a laptop, you can actually do on a tablet as well. Some more easily than others. And there are certain things that you wouldn't want to try doing on a tablet. The other thing a tablet is nice for is that you get a longer battery life. And that's because it doesn't require as much power. So if it's less power, your tablet will last possibly a couple of days, depending how, before you need a charge, depending how often you're going to use it. The other thing a tablet has, just like your smartphone, is they're going to have a touch screen on there. So you can use it just like you would a smartphone. Usually it'll have a virtual keyboard, so you can type on it using a virtual keyboard like you would on a smartphone. If you have a 2-in-1, then you'll actually have a real keyboard, because it's a 2-in-1 is where you're folding your laptop back and it becomes a tablet, but you can use it with the keyboard or without the keyboard. The advantage of that is you now have a full-fledged computer. The disadvantage is it's a little bit heavier, so it's not quite as portable as some of these smaller tablets. And as David pointed out, you can do pretty much everything you might want to do with a computer. You just load the app and off you go. You can add a mouse to a tablet. You can add a keyboard to a tablet. And typically what you're going to be doing with these tablets is you're going to be using files that are stored in the cloud. So you don't necessarily need as much storage on a tablet than you would use on a computer. Because typically people tend to use tablets for just like they would with their phone. They're browsing the internet, they're checking their email, maybe they're watching a movie. All of these things you're pulling down from the cloud, from the internet. So the tablet is basically it's a great tool for browsing the internet. It's a larger size than you would get on your phone, so you may not feel comfortable watching a movie on a small phone, but with a tablet you now have a larger screen. Okay, what's one of the other advantages of tablets? Well, they cost less. A laptop is going to cost you quite a bit of money, depending how much you want to invest in the computer. Tablets, you can get low-end ones for less than $100, or of course you can also get better ones that go up to $1,000 plus. So what do you basically use a tablet for? It's for browsing the internet and for consuming media. So you're going to be reading books, you may be listening to music, watching movies, and kind of surfing the internet. If you're a gamer, you might be playing games on it. You might be reading your newspaper. It's handier to read a newspaper on a tablet than it would be on your phone, because the phone is kind of small, usually. So let's look at some of the considerations of whether you would want to get a tablet or not. First of all, there's the screen size. Okay, with a phone, you know, you may be dealing with a 5, 6, or 7-inch screen. With a tablet, now you're up to 8 inches or 10 inches on a regular tablet. If you're into a laptop, then you're dealing with, you know, 13 or 15 or 17 inches. So it depends what type of screen, what size screen you want to get. The other thing about a tablet is it's going to be lower powered. You're not going to have as good a processor, the CPU, the central processing unit. You won't have as good a processor on there than as you would on a regular computer. So, you know, there are some trade-offs, but it's going to require less power. It's quieter because there's no fan on there. So typically, a tablet is going to be pretty quiet, just like your phone. You've got a touch screen on there, just like you would use with your phone. Sometimes you'll have a stylus or a digital pen, so you can actually draw pictures on there or write notes or whatever you want to do. The other thing you might want to consider with a tablet is, just like with your phone, do you want to get service from your wireless carrier? Because if you get a service from your wireless carrier, either LTE, or which is 4G, or 5G for the faster broadband, you can now use your wireless service for browsing the internet, pulling down files, and so on. If you don't have that, you can just use Wi-Fi. So you can come in here, come into the lab at home. If you have you know, Wi-Fi in your home, all you need is Wi-Fi. So you don't have to have a you know, a phone service like you would with your smartphone. With a tablet, you can just use Wi-Fi. Okay, so now why would you choose a laptop over a tablet? Well, the laptop's going to give you more power. It's going to give you usually more storage than you would have in a tablet. And so if you have needs where you're going to need a lot of storage space, you probably want to go to a laptop versus a tablet. Now, depending on what kind of programs you're running. And David went through some of the programs you can run with apps from a tablet. But you can always run more programs with more features from a real computer or a laptop, and you can be more productive. So, for example, if you're trying to be creative, you're trying to create documents, you're into photo editing or video editing, or even just composing emails, you're writing a book, whatever you're trying to do, those types of things are probably best done on a laptop. It's also easier to type on. So if you're doing a lot of typing, it's a lot easier to type on a real keyboard than it is on a tablet. Now, that's not to say you can't buy an external keyboard and plug it into your tablet. You can't do that. I mean, how many of you are good at typing on your phone? Not too many. You got one. Okay. So that's why, you know, people go to a laptop because you have the same considerations, the same problems typing on a tablet. Yeah, it's a little bit larger screen, but it's still more difficult to use a virtual keyboard. Another thing it does is it has more ports. So if you want to attach a printer to your device, like you would with a laptop, yeah, I mean, you can do these things with a tablet, but it's a lot more difficult because you typically only have one port. So if you want to attach a printer or external hard drive or a keyboard or a mouse, it all can be done, but it's a lot more difficult. So if you have to choose one device only, it probably should be a laptop. But if you already have a computer, a desktop or a laptop, then you can now look and say, well, you know, now I want to get something that's portable to to use for casual use, if you're traveling and so on. And that's where a tablet comes in. And you already, like I said, you already have a tablet, it's your phone. So this is just a larger one, a little bit larger than your phone might be. And the other thing we can look at is 2-in-1s and also something called an all-in-one. So when do you choose a tablet over the laptop? Well, you're traveling. You're on an airplane, you're on a train, you're in your car. A tablet's a lot easier to use in a travel situation. It's better for casual use. You want to go in your backyard and read the newspaper, you can take your tablet out there. So if you're looking also for something that's cheap, inexpensive, a tablet you can get for $100 or a couple $100, whereas you're going to pay a lot more for a laptop. And as far as your apps, a tablet is going to give you more apps. You're going to be running apps on there, whereas with a laptop you're typically running programs, although you can run apps. And actually we'll probably talk about it next month with Windows 11, but Windows 11 is actually introducing Android apps that you can run on a PC. Okay, then there's something called a Chromebook. So what is a Chromebook? Well, Chromebook is Google's version of a simple laptop. It can be like either a laptop that you open it up and it has a keyboard, just like a regular laptop would be. It could be a 2-in-1 where you can fold it back and use it just as a tablet screen, or use it as a laptop type thing. But it doesn't run Windows. It runs Chrome OS. So that's Google's operating system. And so now you're limited to running it with the apps that are available from Google. So just like with a Mac, you're going to, or rather with an iPad, you're limited to what's going to be in the Apple Store. Here, you're limited to what Google is going to offer you. It's also going to be browser-based. So most of the stuff you're doing is going to be using the internet, using a Chrome browser. It runs apps with usually your documents. Your files are all going to be stored in the cloud. You will have some storage on there, but most of the time you want to use the cloud for your storage. And it's quite secure. So, but the biggest thing is it's affordable. You have a lot smaller investment going into a Chromebook than you would into a laptop. Here again, you're going to need Wi-Fi to connect up to the internet for most of the things you want to do. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the things that are available. This is November. We're getting towards Black Friday, and a lot of the stores are coming up with bargains, and some of these are already available. You don't even have to wait till Thanksgiving. So we're going to look at a couple just to show you what is available, but more so than that is how do you read an ad? So in other words, what are you looking for when you see some of these? Okay, Walmart, and this is available today actually. They just put out a cheap Chromebook for $87. So I don't know if they have these in the store across the street, but you can get them online. So what is this? I mean, that's less than $100 for a laptop. Well, it's a Chromebook. It's a Samsung Chromebook. Samsung's a good name. It uses a Celeron processor, so it's not. These are older processors. They're not as powerful as what you might have on a laptop. This actually may be a year-old unit too, so that's why they're selling them more. Sorry. So they may be selling this a little, less expensively too, because it's It may be an older model. It's got an 11.5-inch screen. It's got 4 gig of memory and 32 gig of storage. So it's not a lot of storage, but it does offer you know, some capabilities. And usually, like I say, with a Chromebook, what you're doing is you're using the internet for most of your storage anyway. So you're not going to get a laptop for $87, but you can get this Chromebook. So, but you have to know, you know, what are the limitations of a Chromebook versus a laptop. The one on the right is a little bit better one. They're offering that one also. This one is actually it's a $300 Chromebook that they've got for almost half price, for $179. This one's got a bigger display. So what do you get for a little bit more money? You get a bigger display. It's got higher resolution on the screen. You get a little bit more storage. So now you've got 64 gig. And the other thing is, this one is a 2-in-1. So what you're looking here is you can fold it, and you can use it as a tablet, or you can open it up and use it as a laptop. And it's also, this one's an HP. So you've got some good brands here. HP, you know, makes good products. Okay, here's one from Costco. This one's not available yet. This one goes on sale on November 15th, while supplies last. So you got to get there the first day if they have it. Or if you're getting it online, go online that very first day. Some people even go online at midnight or whatever, trying to be the first ones out there. Typically, this is going to be more the latest model. So you're talking a little bit more money now, because you're not looking at last year's, you're looking at the latest model. You've got more storage in this case, 64 gig. They're also bundling in a stylus, a digital pen, and even a case with it. And so this one is $269, but it's over a $500 one if you were to buy it new.
But you get a bonus pouch too.
That's right. Okay, now let's look at the other end of the lower end of the spectrum. Amazon. Amazon makes tablets. They have what they call their Fire HD tablets. They have an 8-inch size and they have a 10-inch size. This one happens to be a 10-inch size. Instead of using Google and saying, "Hey Google," you're going to say, you're going to ask Alexa for what you want to do. But it works the same way. Actually, you can load Google on here as well, and then you can say, "Hey Google." What they don't tell you is that these Amazon Fire tablets are actually Android tablets with Amazon stuff put on top of it. And you can actually load the Android operating, you can load the Google Play Store onto an onto an Amazon tablet and turn it into an Android tablet. And so if you want to come into the lab, we can show you how to do that. It's pretty simple, or you can also just go to YouTube and type in, "How do I install Google Play Store on an Amazon tablet?" Because they're trying to get you to buy Amazon products, and of course, when you open up an Amazon tablet, the primary thing is it's the Amazon store to buy all your goods. It's the ebooks that they want you to get off of Amazon and so forth. But it does have a really good screen. It's quite bright. This one has 32 gig of storage, 3 gig of memory, lasts for a while, and it's only $149 list price. And if you watch for sales right around Black Friday, you can get these for under $100 in the 10-inch size. And I've seen the 8-inch size go for even as low as $50. So that's quite cheap. It's probably the best tablet you can get for that kind of money. Okay, next up is Microsoft. Microsoft has what they call the Surface tablet, and this has full Windows PC functionality. It's now, if you're going to buy one today, it's going to be a Windows 11 tablet. So it's going to run Windows on there, just like your computer would. This particular one has a 10.5-inch screen. It's a touch screen. You can also use it with a mouse and a keyboard, just as you would a laptop. The keyboard separates from the screen, so you have that regular tablet, but it's a Windows tablet, or you've got the keyboard to attach to it. The nice thing about this is it's very, very portable. It weighs just over a pound. Even with the keyboard, it's 1.69 pounds with the keyboard, and that's less than if you got an iPad and attached the iPad's keyboard. This one is actually less heavy. So it's like an iPad, but it's now with Windows. And these start at $399. And when we say start, we mean that's for the basic unit without the keyboard. Another $100 for the keyboard. You want to add a pen, you want to add other devices, so it will start adding up. Here's a sample of what you can get. This one happens to be from Costco. They're putting in a bundle here. So you get you do get the Surface. This is the Go 3 model. You get it with the cover and a pen included. Now this one, it says it's Windows 11, but it comes in S mode. S mode basically means you're going to run stuff, apps from the Microsoft Store, just like with Android, you're running it from the Google Play Store. Now, the thing to know is, if you buy a computer with Windows in S mode, you do have the option of converting it to full Windows. So you can just do that. If you come into the lab, we can show you how to do that as well, so that you can convert this to a standard Windows. You don't have to just use it in S mode. Okay, so many Windows laptops are also available as 2-in-1s. The 2-in-1 is your convertible. That's where you can fold it back and it becomes a tablet, or open it up and it's a laptop mode. And typically a 2-in-1 will have a touch screen, although not necessarily. So if you're looking at specs, if you want the touch screen, make sure it says touch screen, because they're not always that way. You can also use it, of course, with the mouse and keyboard. Okay, so here's a deal at Best Buy. For $279, this was $450. It's probably an older model. But you're looking at this is the same price as we were looking at the Chromebooks. And you got a lot more power. This is a real 2-in-1 laptop. It's not a Chromebook. So it's actually quite a good deal. Yeah, it's probably an older model, but it has a lot more uses than you would with a Chromebook or a standard tablet. So. So that's the type of thing you might look at an ad like this. Might mention there's also something called an all-in-one. So what's an all-in-one? An all-in-one is basically, it's a laptop that's built into your monitor, into the display screen. It can have a touch screen, but not all of them do. So again, you have to check and see if you want the touch screen, whether it has it or not. But you can use it with a mouse and keyboard. just as you would a standard desktop PC. So here's an example of what that looks like. The innards of the computer are basically in the back of that monitor. So there's no additional box or anything, it's, you've got your screen. This one will have a camera. This actually has a pop-up camera that comes up for if you want to get on Zoom or one of these other programs to have virtual meetings. This is a Dell available at Costco. The advantage of an all-in-one is you've got a bigger screen than you would get on a laptop. You know, you're talking 15 to maybe 17 inches. This one is a 24-inch screen. You can even get these with 27-inch screens or even bigger. It's got 12 gig of memory. And it's got, actually has 2 drives, a solid state drive for the operating system, so it'll boot up very quickly, and it also has a terabyte hard drive for storing more files. And this is actually quite a good deal for $6.99. So that's on, one end. Then, we go back to the lower end again, and here's your tablets. Samsung Galaxies. Samsung probably makes the best tablets out there. They're other than the iPads. But these are some good deals here. You're looking at a 10.4-inch tablet. The one on the left is $279. They give you $100 off on that. So here again, do you want a tablet? It's lighter, it's more portable, or do you want a laptop, which will give you more functionality? The one on the right, this one's only $159. It's a $259 tablet, and they're giving you $100 off. So this is a good price for not just a tablet. They're actually including on this, as you can see, it says a bonus 64 gig SD card. So you can put, it comes with an SD card that'll give you a lot more storage. So with that, we'll open it up to questions on all these tablets, including iPads. And if you wait, we'll have the microphone come around.
Yeah, one thing I would like to recommend is, anybody here, how many have Windows 11 on your computer at home? One? Okay, the rest of you, most likely, if you tried it, you got a message that says that you couldn't put it on. Just be patient. You most likely will be able to put it on. Don't run out and buy a computer because it says your computer is not ready to run Windows 11. Yeah. So.
What do I do with the 5 that I already have? No
We
comments?
still just sell computers without, I've got 2 24-inch monitors.
Sure.
And my motherboard, and I have a Dell, but the Dell is dying, and it's only 4K.
Yeah. You can buy a tablet, not a tablet, but I mean a monitor.
No, I don't want a monitor.
You want a computer without the monitor, the keyboards. You might have to buy the computer with a mouse and a keyboard, but the monitors are usually extra.
Apple has a great little Mac Mini.
Yep.
For under $500.
How fast?
Yeah,
It's faster than the Intel, I think i8 or i7, whatever the higher end is. It was already done benchmarks. I want to come to the iPad's defense on connectivity real quick. The iPads support Bluetooth keyboards, Bluetooth mouse. If you have Wi-Fi, there are printers out there that are Wi-Fi compatible. So you don't need to be able to plug things together. You can send them
Both
out.
do it. Both. Android and
Yeah, and it's not just iPads, obviously, but you don't need to have the hardware connection.
Yeah, this is for the Apple. I have an Apple, it costs a lot of money. And I'm gonna ask you about their support system. Now, if I have a problem with my Apple, I get on the phone, and they talk to me for as long as I want and solve all my problems. Now, on all your new Apple computers, is that support always, or does it run out, or do I get it?
You have options. Okay, you can buy extended support, or write this down if you have an Apple product, 1-800-MY-APPLE. It's free. Talk to a tech support person at Apple at that number, and it's free, and they will give you answers and they will help you. So if you have problems today with old or new Mac, that's the number.
Is that for forever?
If it says Mac on it or Apple on it, that's forever. Yeah,
That's for.
yeah.
Is there a big advantage of 11 over 10?
You talking Windows 11? Is that? Yeah. Well, I think we just lost.
That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, Windows is, it's a 5-year-old operating system at this point, and Microsoft is going on to the next iteration of Windows, so now we have Windows 11, and that'll be going forward probably for the next 5 years. So it's just the natural evolution of the operating system. If you buy a new computer today, it's going to come with Windows 11, or if you're getting an older one, still has Windows 10, it'll be upward compatible with Windows 11, so you can upgrade to it. Any computer that you bought probably in the last 2 to 3 years should definitely be upgradable to Windows 11.
I just heard there was a free Apple support. Is there free HP support?
I'm sorry, free what?
HP.
HP.
I don't know, HP support?
No, it's just, as long as it's under warranty, there's
Yeah.
a support. Once it's on a warranty 1 year, usually, then it's, they'll want to pay everything.
Yeah, Apple's more generous than most on support.
Yeah, you're gonna get manufacturer support from any of the computers, if it's Dell, Lenovo, HP, or Apple. So, you do get some limited support. Of course, you can also come into the lab and we'll help you as best we can.
Costco concierge service.
And if you buy from Costco, they've got a great return policy. You can use it if you find you have problems with it. You can, 90 days later, you can still return it. And they have a phone number that they give you, so if you're having issues with it, you can call that phone number and they'll kind of step you through any kind of issues.
Extended warranty at Costco too.
Yes, yeah, they usually add an extra year onto your manufacturer warranty. More questions?
Okay, thank you.
I got a real quick note from one of our Sun City board members. I was wrong, there is no November board meeting. I mentioned, I think, at the 23rd, 24th. It's going to be December the 8th, so there's no more meeting in November. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you again next month. The lab will be open, probably in 20 minutes.